Stop grinding yourself into the ground. Why softness is the most profitable business strategy. Black women aren't using Welcome to the Soft Girl Era podcast, where we unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom we deserve without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French, and I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. Today, I had the extraordinary opportunity to sit down with Talisa Payne, a visionary leader who is redefining what it means to build wealth, legacy, and power for Black women entrepreneurs and professionals. Talisa is not just changing businesses, she is changing lives, and her work is making the world a better place by showing us that softness is not a personality trait, it is a business strategy and a wealth strategy. And what I'm about to share with you from our conversation will challenge everything you thought you knew about success, hustle, and what it really takes to thrive. Let me start with something that might sound radical. For Black women entrepreneurs and professionals, softness is not weakness. Softness is not a luxury. Softness is infrastructure. It is the foundation upon which sustainable businesses, generational wealth, and real freedom are built. We have been conditioned to believe that our only path to success is grinding harder, being the strong one, carrying everything alone, even as we build businesses at record rates. But the data, the lived examples, the stories Talisa shared with me, they all show something different. Rest, community, and collaboration are emerging as the most powerful levers for sustainable growth and generational wealth for Black women. I want to challenge the idea that scaling your impact requires sacrificing your well being. Instead, I want us to explore together how centering softness through boundaries, emotional wellness, shared infrastructure, and collaborative deal making can make your business more profitable, your leadership more effective, and your success more sustainable. Here's what we know: Black women own over 2 million businesses, generating about $390 billion in revenue, with some of the fastest growth rates among all women entrepreneurs. Let that sink in. $390 billion. We are not on the margins. We are an economic engine. But those numbers, as impressive as they are, mask something darker: burnout, undercapitalization, exhaustion. The next chapter is not work harder. The next chapter is build with intention, protect your energy, and leverage systems, pricing, and support so your business doesn't depend on you suffering to survive. You are part of a $390 billion economic engine, and softness is how we make that power sustainable. Let me tell you about Martine Sanville and her daughter Alexandria. These two incredible women are building a wellness farm in North Carolina, specifically catering to Black women, emphasizing rest, community, and holistic care as central to their business model. Think about that for a moment. In a world that expects Black women to be endlessly strong, endlessly available, endlessly resilient, they decided to build a space where Black women could simply rest, where they could heal, where they could be soft without apology. Their venture is grounded in the belief that Black women deserve space designed for recovery, reflection, and softness, and that such spaces are economically and socially transformative. They come from a context where Black women are often overworked and underserved in traditional wellness spaces. Their journey involves naming the emotional and physical toll of constant strength and deciding to build a physical environment where Black women can experience softness without apology. They faced fear and uncertainty, starting a new, unconventional business that doesn't glorify grind culture. They had to navigate the same capital and infrastructure barriers common to Black women entrepreneurs. They had to create a business that centers vulnerable needs, rest, healing, in a culture that often expects Black women to be endlessly strong. But they adopted a mindset of do it scared and just start, acknowledging fear, but refusing to let it dictate their future. They built a trusted circle of 3 to 5 people for accountability, tough questions, and emotional support, embedding community into their entrepreneurial process. They broke the vision into manageable steps and let go of rigid outcomes, an approach that reduces pressure and allows for organic growth. The Wellness Farm Project has gained national visibility, signaling demand for Black women centered wellness spaces and proving that softness focused ventures are viable and valued. Their narrative models a pathway where emotional safety, community, and rest are not side benefits, but the product and the strategy. Their work amplifies a new narrative. Black women's businesses can center healing and softness and still be serious economic and cultural contributions. They provide a model for other Black women entrepreneurs to build ventures around well being, not just productivity, influencing both the wellness industry and broader entrepreneurial culture. This is what softness as strategy looks like in action. Now, let me share another story that Talisa and I discussed, one that speaks to the power of intentional design. Financial expert Dr. Rosie Thomas works with Black women who've experienced layoffs, helping them transform that crisis into intentional, lasting businesses rather than short term hustle. Her approach centers clarity, financial grounding, and systems forms of structural softness that prevent burnout and chaos. Many Black women pushed into entrepreneurship by layoffs feel intense urgency and financial pressure, leading them to create a job instead of a sustainable business. Common barriers include limited access to capital, underpricing, lack of systems, and the emotional strain of sudden career disruption. Without guidance, urgency turns into overwork, disorganization, and exhaustion. Dr. Rosie's framework emphasizes this: let the urgency push you, but do not let it rush you. Treat energy and drive as assets, but slow down enough to build with intention. She starts with personal financial clarity, understanding numbers and credit before approaching lenders. She directs women to community development financial institutions that specifically fund underserved entrepreneurs, including Black women. She encourages use of pitch competitions as overlooked sources of capital and visibility. And she insists that systems be built from day one, especially around client onboarding, invoicing, cash flow, and marketing pipelines to avoid chaos with a logo. Black women working with this methodology shift from survival mode hustle to structured, scalable enterprises. They gain access to capital, learn to price correctly, and develop repeatable systems that protect their time, energy, and emotional bandwidth. Post layoff entrepreneurship has become a reality for many Black women, particularly in volatile corporate environments. Dr. Rosie has spent over 20 years guiding women at this crossroads, watching patterns of frantic overwork and self sacrifice repeat. Her mission is to interrupt that cycle with intentional design so that businesses built out of necessity do not become new sites of exploitation for their owners. Her work reframes layoffs from purely traumatic events into inflection points for legacy building, provided women embrace softness in the form of structure, support, and deliberateness. This reinforces that intentional design and financial literacy are core components of softness as strategy, not contradictions to it. Softness must be built into your business model from day one through systems, pricing, and boundaries. Financial experts working with Black women founders emphasize clarity, consistency and coachability, plus early attention to systems, client onboarding, cash flow, and marketing pipelines. As the difference between chaos and a real business, integrating softness means pricing so you're not underpaid, designing processes that reduce emotional labor, setting boundaries on time, access, and availability. These aren't nice to haves, they're the mechanisms that allow your business to grow without destroying you. Now, here's where it gets even more powerful. Collaboration and shared infrastructure are often more powerful than individual hustle. Instead of seeing each other as competition, Black women entrepreneurs can use teaming agreements, shared back office operations, and joint entities to bid on larger contracts, reduce admin overload, and free themselves to work in their zones of genius. Softness here looks like asking for help, building together, and refusing to carry the whole load alone. An analysis of the boom in Black women owned businesses proposed a three-stage collaboration model: teaming agreements, shared back office, and joint entities, as a way for Black women founders to access larger contracts and reclaim their time. This model treats community and shared infrastructure as business strategy and as a way to soften the grind. Black women entrepreneurs are starting businesses at remarkable rates, often at three times their demographic share, but many remain small, overextended, and under resourced. Individual firms struggle to qualify for or execute large contracts because they appear too small, lack capacity, or are bogged down in administrative work. Emotional and physical burnout emerge from trying to function as CEO, back office, and delivery team alone. The collaboration roadmap for Black women owned businesses looks like this. Stage one, teaming agreement. Three or more businesses sign a simple agreement to bid together on a single large contract, naming one as the prime contractor. No merger, no permanent entanglement, just shared opportunity and proof of concept. Stage two, shared back office. Before merging anything customer facing, they combine the boring stuff they shouldn't duplicate: one bookkeeper, one set of software licenses, one shared assistant, one unified brand and website, presenting as a full service shop while staying legally separate. This immediately reduces administrative overload and frees each founder to focus on her strengths. Stage three, real entity. Once they've won work together and run shared operations, they consider longer term structures: a holding company, a worker cooperative, or a jointly owned agency of record. Black women using this model can compete for larger contracts, spread risk, and scale capacity without sacrificing their well being. Shared back office operations directly translate to more time for strategic work and rest, and less duplication of administrative labor. The collaboration model emerges from recognition that Black women have built a massive entrepreneurial ecosystem: 2.02 million businesses generating $390 billion, but are still often treated as marginal players. The next level of power requires a mindset shift from job having to business owning, and from individual grind to collective building. This provides a concrete model for transforming softness: asking for help, sharing burdens, building trust into operational and financial advantage. It invites Black women to see themselves not just as individual founders, but as participants in a large, coordinated economic force where a community is the competitive edge. So here's what I want you to take away from this conversation with Talisa Payne. You are part of a $390 billion economic engine, and softness is how we make that power sustainable. Collaboration and shared infrastructure are often more powerful than individual hustle. And softness must be built into your business model from day one through systems, pricing, and boundaries. If your business or career had to be built in a way that never required you to betray your body, your boundaries, or your joy again, what would you change first? And who would you invite to help you do it? This is not a rhetorical question. This is the question that will determine whether you build a legacy or burn out trying. This is the question that separates those who survive from those who thrive. This is the question that honors every ancestor who fought for your freedom, every elder who prayed for your success, every little Black girl watching you right now, wondering if she has to grind herself into dust to matter. You don't, and neither do I. The $390 billion truth is this: we have already proven we can build, we have already proven we can lead, we have already proven we can create something from nothing, turn pain into power, and rise when the world expected us to break. What we have not yet proven collectively is that we can build without breaking ourselves in the process, that we can lead without losing ourselves, that we can create wealth without sacrificing our wellness. That ends now. This week, I am challenging you to choose one concrete softness strategy to implement. Raise one price to reflect the true value of your labor. Build or refine one simple system, client onboarding, invoicing, or marketing pipeline to reduce chaos. Reach out to one Black woman in your network to explore a small collaboration, a shared admin resource, a joint offer, or a teaming agreement for an upcoming opportunity. Softness in your business doesn't start with a feeling. It starts with a decision and a design choice. It starts with you saying enough. Enough of the grind that glorifies exhaustion. Enough of the hustle that romanticizes suffering. Enough of the narrative that tells us we have to be twice as good, work twice as hard, and rest half as much to deserve a seat at a table we built with our own hands. Take one step toward structuring your work so that you can thrive, not just survive, in this era you are creating for yourself. Because the soft girl era is not about being weak, it is not about being less. It is about being whole. It is about being free. It is about building businesses and lives that honor the fullness of who we are, not just the productivity we can produce. You are not a machine. You are not a mule. You are not a martyr. You are a Black woman with a vision, a voice, and a right to rest, to joy, to softness, and to wealth that doesn't cost you your peace. So stop grinding yourself into the ground. Start building yourself a foundation and watch what happens when you finally give yourself permission to be soft, strategic, and successful all at the same time.